All right. So Google just, they just came out with all these AI products like Gemini 2.0, this super advanced language model.
Yeah.
But like hidden in all of that is this thing called Project Astra.
Hmm.
And it's so secretive that like we only have a few clues from this MIT Technology Review article that came out December 12, 2024, called Google's new Project Astra could be generative AI's killer app.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The sort of like keeping it under wraps just makes it more intriguing,
That's what we
especially
know.
with all the other stuff they're announcing.
What we do know is that Astra is this multimodal AI.
Right.
So what does that actually mean in this context?
Well, I think most of the AIs that we're familiar with are like text in, text out.
Yeah.
But Astra is meant to be able to take in information from cameras, microphones.
Interesting.
Almost like giving it senses so it can actually interact with the real world, not just digital data.
So it's not just understanding language, it's understanding context. Like if it sees you making a mess in the kitchen, it might know to like give you a recipe for a quick cleanup meal or something.
Precisely.
Wow.
That's the potential here. It can connect what it sees and hears to a vast knowledge base and then respond in a way that's relevant to the situation.
So this is starting to feel a little sci-fi now.
Sure.
How does Gemini 2.0 tie into all of this?
Well, Gemini was designed to handle lots of different kinds of data.
Okay.
Text, images, audio, all in one system.
Okay.
So that's sort of the foundation that would allow Astra to make these connections between the physical and digital world.
The article mentioned some early demos where Astra was able to do things like read a recipe from a physical cookbook and even discuss like the meaning behind a piece of artwork in a gallery.
So I think what's remarkable here is it's not just recognizing the words on the page or the objects in the painting.
Yeah.
It's understanding the meaning behind them.
Oh, wow.
It's able to extract information from the recipe or explain the artistic techniques that were used in the painting.
Well, it's not just recognizing patterns. It's actually like...
It seems like it is in some way. It's certainly displaying a level of understanding that goes beyond what we've seen before.
Yeah.
It's able to, make inferences, connect ideas.
Wow.
Even express opinions.
Oh, wow.
Based on the information it's processing.
But even with all of this, it's still early stages, right?
Yeah, it is. This is very much a work in progress.
Okay.
They're still figuring out how to make it truly reliable and robust.
And not just the technical challenges, but also the ethical challenges with privacy?
Yeah. How could this be misused?
Yeah.
Very serious questions about surveillance and data collection without people's knowledge or consent.
So it's a real tricky balance to create something this powerful and to make sure that it's not misused.
I think it's not even just up to Google.
Right.
I think as a society, we need to be having these conversations about what AI is going to be and what we want it to be.
So we've got this super secretive AI that's going to be with us everywhere, interacting with the world in ways that we're only beginning to understand.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Well, the article hints at some real-world testing that's already going on.
Okay.
Google is apparently experimenting with this on smart glasses.
Hold on, smart glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, this could change everything.
It could.
Let's dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
So imagine like having this AI with you like all the time, literally seeing what you see.
Right.
And like experiencing the world through your eyes.
Yeah.
That's the potential.
So the article mentions some specific demos where Google researchers were actually like testing this out. What were some of the things that it could actually do?
So there's this anecdote about a researcher named Ju who was interacting with Astra through a smartphone.
Okay.
And Astra was able to remember their previous conversations and preferences.
Wait, so like if they talked about something earlier, it could actually recall it?
Yeah, like it even remembered that Ju preferred to speak in English.
Oh, wow.
And would correct itself when it accidentally started speaking Mandarin.
So it's not just responding to these individual commands, it's like building some sort of like relationship with the user.
Right. It's able to retain information and learn from past interactions.
Okay.
Which is crucial for creating a truly personalized AI experience.
What about the demo where Astra was able to read a recipe from a physical cookbook?
Right. So it used the phone's camera to scan the page.
Okay.
And then it could recite the ingredients and instructions.
Wow.
But what's interesting is that it didn't just read the words verbatim.
Right.
It was able to understand the context of the recipe and explain the steps in a way that made sense.
So it wasn't just text-to-speech, it was comprehending.
Right. It was actually like understanding the information.
But the article also mentioned that there were a few times where it kind of messed up, right?
Yeah, there were a few instances where it missed an ingredient or misidentified a piece of art.
Interesting.
It even tried to identify paintings on screens as fake paintings.
Oh, gosh.
Which I thought was kind of funny.
I mean, I can see how that would be confusing for an AI.
Sure.
But the interesting thing is that it was able to correct itself.
Yes.
When it was told that it was wrong.
Yeah, it was able to learn and adapt.
So it can process information from multiple sources,
right?
Remember past interactions, and learn from its mistakes.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in, but let's get back to these smart glasses.
Yeah, the idea of having Astra on a pair of smart glasses is both exciting and unnerving.
Yeah, it's like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Like walking through a museum and it's telling you about every piece of art.
Right, or you're playing a sport. And it's giving you real-time feedback and coaching as you're learning.
That's wild.
But then, of course, there's the potential downsides.
Right, like the privacy concerns we talked about.
Even more so with smart glasses.
Right.
Because if it has access to your camera and microphone all the time, it could be collecting a vast amount of data about your life.
It feels like we're entering this like uncharted territory.
It does.
Where the lines between our physical and digital lives are just totally blurred.
That's what makes it so fascinating and potentially so disruptive.
Yeah.
I mean, it really forces us to ask some big questions about our relationship with technology and what it means to be human in this world.
This is all very exciting, but I have to admit, I'm also a little apprehensive.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly natural reaction.
Right.
We're talking about something that could fundamentally change how we live, work, and interact with the world. So I think a mix of awe and a little bit of apprehension is probably the right response.
Well said. So where do we go from here? What are the key takeaways? Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me is like Astra isn't just another AI product.
Right.
It's like a whole new way we could be interacting with technology.
Yeah.
It's not just about like giving commands or getting information. It's like having this AI companion with you that's constantly learning and evolving alongside you.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so potentially transformative.
Yeah.
We're talking about going from like AI as a tool to AI as like a partner.
Right.
Maybe even a collaborator.
The article quotes Blaise Aguirre-Artax, VP of Research at Google DeepMind. And he said, Astra has huge potential to boost productivity.
Yeah.
But he also acknowledges the huge obvious risk of misuse.
Right.
So like, what can we do?
Well,
as individuals, do we even matter?
Absolutely you matter. It starts with awareness.
Okay.
Understanding what's at stake and you know, being a part of these conversations.
Yeah.
The more informed we are as a society, the better equipped we'll be to make sure that this is going in a direction that we want it to.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
Like we can either just accept whatever AI these companies create,
right,
or we can be active in shaping the future that we want to see.
I think that participation can take many forms.
Okay.
It can be supporting organizations advocating for ethical AI. It could be demanding more transparency from the companies that are building these things. It could be even just having conversations with your friends and family.
So it's not just a tech issue, it's like
it's a societal issue.
Yeah, a human issue.
It is.
Yeah.
AI is not just some abstract concept.
Right.
It's going to have a real impact on our lives, our work, our relationships, how we see ourselves as humans.
This deep dive has definitely left me with more questions than answers, but I think that's a good thing.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's made me curious to learn more.
Yeah.
To stay informed.
Well, that's the best outcome we could hope for.
Yeah.
Because the future of AI is still being written, and we all have a role to play.
To our listeners, we encourage you to seek out more information, ask questions, join the conversation.
Yeah.
The future of AI is in our hands.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.